Hello everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith. Today we're going to be unboxing the Lion God expansion for Kingdom Death Monster, and this came as part of the Kickstarter 1.5 edition of Kingdom Death Monster, and this is the third unboxing for the original expansions for the game. So if you haven't seen my first two, be sure to go check them out. They are part of they are within the Kingdom Death Monster Showcase playlist, which you can find on the channel, or you can go check out the unboxings playlist to find them as well. So what we have here is the typical look and feel for what you'll see for an expansion in Kingdom Death Monster. Typically not exciting in terms of the box. On the outside, it's what's inside that counts, except I can tell you guys, knowing the main game, the core game is a behemoth. It wouldn't even fit on this screen if I zoomed out. It's massive and it's very high quality and will fit all the original expansions as well as the core game inside of it. So that's another reason why these expansion boxes don't look up to par with the core game, because the idea is that you're supposed to merge those into the game, the core game box. So anyway, this is the Lion God. I'm going to go ahead and just zoom in on the icons. You can see a little clearly just the actual symbol for the Lion God, and just to let you guys know as well. Now again, this actual decal is quite curved off to the side, so even though the box is straight, the decal's on its kind of on an angle there, which is quite interesting. But anyway, the actual cards themselves have this particular emblem or icon showing on the cards to let you know which ones are part of the Lion God set. You'll see that as we go through the cards. It kind of shows as a little banner that's artistically drawn on the cards, which is pretty cool. Bottom left here, you're seeing mature audiences, which I've already warned about in the description below. So again, if you're watching this and don't know anything about it, it is for mature audiences. So if you are not of age, then you should probably run away. But I also won't be showing anything graphic here during the unboxing. Right here is designed in New York, made in China, and it's Adam Poots who designed it. So as we see in the previous two unboxings, the box is the same, very simplistic all the way around. So we're just going to go ahead and cut into this thing and see what comes in this expansion. So let's go ahead without further ado and get this done. So I'm really excited for this because this is the third one that I'm going to merge in. I'm really interested to see what this is going to add into the game. Each of these expansions adds a brand new monster to deal with, which is really, really cool. And obviously the AI cards for each monster are very, very specific to each monster, and they add a unique showdown, which is really cool. So, and as well as not just a showdown, but many other wonderful things to add into your campaign. So as you can see, packing peanuts are included. So if you love them, you're going to get a whole bunch. So I'm just going to go ahead and dump those out of the way really quick. There we go. Pile of cards came out. Looks like the rest is stuck. Oh, there we go. That's a substantial amount of... Okay, so talking about the other miniatures we've already opened, this is probably the most I've got on sprues so far in any of them. Lion God's quite large, so I'm just going to go ahead here and pull back a little bit of the plastic. See if I can get into this carefully. Looks like there's a piece of tape going across it to keep it all together. Just going to do a quick cut through it so we can see what's inside. There we go. I may not have cut that in the best way possible, but at least we can get into it. What I want to do, guys, I want to be able to show you the miniature itself, or at least parts of the miniature anyway, because again, most of this isn't going to make too much sense because, well, it's all in sprues. You have to create these things, so there's a lot of work involved in them. Okay, so we've got, there's parts of the Lion God there, and legs, arms, all that good stuff. Looks like the face of the Lion God, so I don't know if you guys can see that. Zoom it in there a little bit, there you go. It's a creepy face, things like that. The base here, that's actually quite interesting. There's quite a big base right there, and then there's a whole bunch of lanterns on the ground, like tons of them, because basically the Lion God sits on top of this mountain of stone faces and lanterns, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And then, of course, the main body of the Lion God itself, some massive pieces. So again, these pieces are going to be attached on to the main body of the Lion God, so there's either side of him. And that is all 3 sprues that come in the box. There's also, of course, a base that comes in it, and this base is by far the biggest one. Well, I shouldn't say the biggest one, because there's big ones in the core box, but that's a pretty decent sized base, and as you can see, it's got the I Love Poots on the base itself, so that's cool. And again, looks like a statue, kind of a podium. style to it. We got a deck of cards that flew out, so we will be opening this up and going through that relatively quickly, though, to avoid any major spoilers. Also inside these boxes, you'll notice there's like a nice little compartment that they put all of the paperwork in so that nothing gets destroyed. That's awesome. I love that. So let's see if I got everything out. Yep. So it looks like what came out of this one here is we get a pack of cards, what we saw in previous other unboxings that I've done so far. So we'll go through those as well. We got the expected dividers, so the Lion God gear as well as Lion God card dividers. So those are really handy, and these are going to help us when we put them into the core game. Again, reason being you're not going to store them in here. You're going to put them in your core game, and then these dividers are going to help you find them later. You've got yourself some specific tiles that were created for the Lion God, who is quite interesting looking, and a gigantic black abyss there. Again, I don't know much about what these are or what they represent, but I will be learning as we go through. And then, of course, we have the actual book itself. So we might as well go through the book first, but again, I'm not going to show you many of the pages in this because for fear of spoilers. So what I will show you is I'll show you, first off, the front page of the book. There's the page without any glare involved. And then if I go ahead here and I open this up and show you guys the very first page, which is safe for spoilers, it's got some artwork there of the Lion God kind of faintly in the background, table of contents, the upgrading of the core game, how to implement this thing in, the new rules it brings in, the Necromancer's secret fighting art, and if I come over here, okay, then as soon as we turn the next page, we're going right into a lot of art, and that's where I don't want to ruin anything. So essentially I'll show you a corner of that art, but that's essentially what it looks like. And you can see like it involves a story as well as this kind of pegs the story events as you go through the expansion. So I'm not going to go ahead and show you all of that content for fear of spoilers because I want you to be able to discover this on your own. So I'll put that off to the side and we'll jump into the cards. So the first pack here is, I'm actually really excited for this. The cards are some of my favorite parts of these expansions because it just adds so much to the gameplay. So let's see here. Crack this thing open. I am doing this off camera, so I do apologize for that. You're not getting to see my wonderful cuts, but I also want to make sure that I don't lose a finger. So we got rare gear here. So again, the cards in Kingdom Death Monster are fantastic. The artwork looks amazing. And then we're going to flip this over, and there we go. So we got Ancient Lion Claws, and we've got a golden plate. So far we've gotten one of each. A Lion God statue. Oh, interesting. Which? Butcher's Blood. Oh, there's another card behind it, actually. A Glyph of Solitude. Lantern. Death. And Necromancer's Eye. Some really cool, and these again are rare gear cards, so they're very, very nicely shaded in a really nice gold to let you know you've got something extremely special. There's also a gigantic deck of cards that comes in all these expansions that adds all kinds of content to the game, including AI for the I want to say Nemesis there because I got Aeon Zen on the brain, but for the showdowns with the monsters is what I meant to say. So we're going to go ahead and crack this open, and I'll go through these relatively quickly as I do not want to spoil anything for you, but I'll show you guys the backs of the cards because I've always thought the backs of these cards are really fantastic. They do a fantastic job of categorizing each of them so it's very easy to see. They're all color-coded. You know, if you got your AI stuff there, there's quite a bit of AI cards, and when I'm shuffling past these, there's bricks of them, and then it gets into like fighting arts where there's a lot less. So there's some fighting arts. I think there's some innovations that typically come before the fighting arts. Disorders. These are all things that are going to get added into the game. So without further ado, we'll flip this over and just go through these relatively quickly. I'm not going to show you too much because I do not want to spend any time spoiling anything necessarily. So, but I'll show you guys exactly, roughly, the cards in the game. I cannot wait to add these in. I really can't. It's going to be interesting. The first time I go through a playthrough of this one, I'm going to be trying to figure out which expansions I want to add in and which ones I want to wait on. So that's going to be the fun part with this game is that, like, you know, it's figuring out which expansions you want to put in, which ones you want to take out, all that good stuff. And just so you guys know as well, sometimes the cards are sticking together because they're so well printed and they're very thick cards. So sometimes I might be going past, and it might seem like I'm whipping through these a little faster than normal, but sometimes there's one or two together. Like right now there's two there and I can't get that apart on camera, but later on I'll be able to separate them. So pretty cool artwork though overall. I've always liked, there's a few I just missed, there's another bunch I just missed, but that's okay because again at the end of the day I don't want to spoil too much. So there we go. That is the sum up of the Lion God expansion for Kingdom Death Monster. Again, without going into major detail, sticking around for too much of a view in the book itself, the booklet and stuff, but you saw everything that comes inside the expansion, so now you know what to expect if you happen to want to pick this up from the store. Because when they do get stock back in on the Kingdom Death Monster store, then you can go ahead and pick up this expansion there to add into your base game. So hopefully this was helpful for you. Thanks again for your support, and as always, keep on rolling solo.